For this one here, we're gonna set up with a band on a post or the rig that we can have a little bit of tension on. And then we're gonna get ourselves close enough where as I reach down, the tension is enough where I can control it and get some feedback, but it's not so much where I need to use a lot of muscle activity to do it. From here, I wanna make sure I'm setting up my foot position and my low back position to really get the most out of this exercise. So I'm gonna feel number one. In this hook lying position, I'm gonna keep my feet heavy. I'm gonna feel the base of my big toe, the base of my pinky toe, and then my inside and outside of my heel. I wanna feel like I push straight down. As I push straight down, that's gonna get me heavy into the back side of my pelvis, right? So that position should allow me to get heavy into the ground through the pelvis and then also through the space on my upper back between my shoulder blades. From here, I'm gonna take this band and I wanna reach slightly down. This is at about a 45-degree angle. There's gonna be a bunch of different ways we can do this, and your PT will let you know how we want you to execute it. But I'm gonna reach down. I keep that heaviness through my heels, through the backside of my pelvis, through the space between my shoulder blades. I'm gonna take my breath in. I'm gonna breathe out nice and slow like I'm fogging up glass. I should breathe out long enough where I get ab tension, right? Those abs are gonna help pull my ribs down and help me get heavy into the ground. I shouldn't go so hard where I start to then crunch up. I just wanna breathe out long enough to get some of that tension. Then I wanna hold on to some of that tension as I take my next breath in. And then repeat, right? In another variation, we might have you reach higher. You might have to choke up on the band a little bit more to have some tension where you're at 90 or even slightly up overhead, but your PT will let you know where that is. If we're doing a more dynamic version, you guys are gonna set up the exact same. I feel my feet on the ground. I get heavy through the backside of my pelvis. I feel the space between my shoulder blades get heavy into the ground. And then I'm gonna think about making this more dynamic. So I'm gonna have a little bit more tension on the band. I'm gonna think about maintaining that foot contact, back of the pelvis, space between the shoulder blades. I take my breath in, reach up overhead. Breathe out, come back down, still getting in that ab tension. I want to maintain that ab tension when I go into my next breath and reach. Come down, breathe out again, maintaining that ab tension. If I have the ability to, I'll go even further up overhead, but I would stop where any type of extension happens through the back. If I lose my contacts with the back of my pelvis, or I start to feel like my shoulder blade starts to come off and lift my rib cage with it, right? So if I was to do this, I would get into a point where I set myself up. I feel contact through all those points. And then once I get to about here, I start to feel like in order to go further, I need to extend through the spine a little bit more. That's how I know I kind of ran out of room. And that way I kind of cut it off here. That's where I'd finish my inhale. And then I would exhale back down. So give that a try. Make sure you're kind of aware of where that's happening and then making sure the breath is synced up so that you can get the most out of it using your abs to set the movement up.